Hey, what's up? I'm Ivana Estelle. Welcome back to my channel. We today are going to cover something that I feel like is really, really important, especially after this quarantine. Maybe you have been dealing with a situationship or dating someone on and off, or like you're like really tired of your significant other. And at one point, I'm sure they probably said to you, "You're crazy," right? Maybe you sent a bunch of paragraphs, or maybe you, I don't know, like keyed their car or stalked their Snapchat, and they're like, "You know what? You're crazy." Here's what I want to say to you. If you've ever been called crazy, I want you to show the person who called you crazy this video. I want you to bring them to this, send them this link. Because you may be crazy, but you're not nearly as batshit crazy as Jodi Arias. Today we are going to cover just a few facts that show how mind-boggling, insane Jodi Arias is or was, and the craziest case in 2008. So in 2008, Jodi Arias murdered her boyfriend, her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in one of the most heinous crimes that had ever been seen probably that year. And there's just a few things I feel like people don't really know about it. It was really popular because the case was filled with sex and love and lies and beautiful people, and it literally captivated America. People were on the edge of their seat. And in my opinion, it was because everybody could kind of relate to something, right? Like maybe you were in a crazy relationship. Maybe you have a little bit been kind of similar to Jodi. Maybe you were, if you're a guy, you've definitely been in Travis's shoes, dating someone who you probably don't see a future with. You enjoy her company, but something is off. And then of course she proves what exactly is off. The fact that she's crazy and you were right to stop fucking with her. Maybe you like having sex with somebody that you shouldn't be having sex with. You know, I'm super into like zodiacs, like astrology, that kind of thing, what signs should be together, all that kind of stuff. I really, really am into that kind of stuff. And those are, to me, I use those as keys for maybe like who I shouldn't or should not date, maybe because I wouldn't be good for them or they wouldn't be good for me. But I think the biggest thing is looking at a case like this, it just goes to show that if you're not supposed to be with someone, cut it off as soon as you fucking can. So here's a few facts I want to just kind of get started with, just to give you just some background on this case, right? Most people saw what was really huge about her case was, of course, the murder photos that were taken and all the lies that she told and how strange and like weird she was on camera. But there's some things I feel like people don't really know that like make this case even more fucking sane. So first of all, I want to just set the tone that Jodi was only 24 years old when she committed this crime. Okay, so Jodi was really young. She was dating him for about 2 years, dating Travis for 2 years. So that means they met when she was around 21, 22. She was really, really young. And there was about 4 years worth of like psychological tests that were done to see if she was fit to stand trial, because the case was just so insane. Her lies were just so insane. But I also think a major part of that was the fact that she was young. Our brains aren't not fully developed until the age 25. So I'm sure people are trying to see if like maybe something was off as to why she ended up doing what she did. Next thing, I need to set the tone. So the day that Jodi Arias murdered Travis Alexander, there were a couple things that were happening. First of all, they were on another break. They were actually broken up for good at this time. They were not getting back together. Travis had started dating someone new in the Mormon community that like he actually was really trying to settle down with and get to really go somewhere with. And Jodi was kind of on one of those like, oh, I'm at peace, I'm so done with him type of things, like, but clearly not done. They decided to meet up, I guess, one more time to kind of like have a final talk and hash out and be together. Their time together was spent having sex, just spending time, whatever, and ultimately, of course, it ended in his murder. But before I get to that, I need to mention, not only was Jodi single when this occurred and not technically dating Travis, but she was actually dating his coworker whose name is Ryan Burns. So she and Ryan were only dating for a couple weeks. They were trying to just kind of get to know each other. They had met at a convention. Travis did a lot of like public speaking. He was kind of like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Gary Vee. He does like speaking to help people with like sales and like furthering their careers and doing what they want with their life, that kind of thing. And he was young too. He was only 30 years old. He's been doing it probably since his early 20s. So that whole circuit was how Jodi met Travis and how Jodi met Ryan, because they were in the same company. Ryan and Jodi were kind of dating. They were talking, and Ryan was actually really into her. She had disclosed that she had dated Travis, and that we were all in the same circle. I just kind of want you to know, and Ryan didn't really see a problem with it. Here's where shit gets weird. Ryan and Jodi were supposed to hang out the night that Travis Alexander was murdered. Jodi had pretty much let him know that she'd actually be driving to Utah where he lived, and they would be able to spend some time together. The day of the murder, Ryan hadn't heard from Jodi. They were supposed to hang out that day, and ended up actually hearing from her hours later and seeing her like 16 hours later. Her excuses were kind of weird. They were kind of just like, I don't even fucking remember what the excuses were, but they were, and obviously probably neither does Ryan, because they ended up spending the whole day together. And a couple things. When Jodi Arias went to visit Ryan, her beautiful bombshell blonde hair was dyed brown, and she had cuts on her hands. Once again, like I said, Ryan clearly didn't really give a fuck. He noticed it, but was kind of like, okay, this is a new look, whatever. And just kind of went on with them spending the weekend together. During their time together, they didn't have sex, but they were making out, they were affectionate, and Jodi was acting completely normal. So to be clear, I just want to give you a little bit of a timeline. Travis was murdered on June 4th, 2008, right? And after that, by June 5th and June 6th, which we literally are just passing the anniversary, is when Jodi went to go visit Ryan Burns and spent the weekend. Ryan said that Jodi was completely normal, completely regular. They were affectionate, they were cute, and he was excited to like spend more time with her after their weekend. She then went home. Next crazy ass fact. So let's just be clear. She murdered her boyfriend of 2 years, went to go see his friend, spent the weekend with him, extra normal, extra regular, and then went on her merry way. That's insane. I mean, there's one thing to like fuck your ex's friend, but then it's also like murder your ex and then go hang out with his friend and act like nothing happened. That's fucking crazy. Next, also crazy and insane as to why maybe a lot of people think like, how was she able to get away with this for so long? It was because it took 5 days for people to notice that Travis was dead. Yes, 5 days. Travis lived in a house with about 2 other roommates, like a big house like in Arizona. However, his friends or roommates didn't know or didn't hear from him for 5 days and did not once think to go check, knock on the door, call, text, anything. Someone who had such a light about him and was so popular, the fact that it took that long for people to notice that like something was wrong was really, really, really strange. I guess you can kind of chop it up to, well, he's 30, he's doing his own thing, but in my opinion, I think that is really, really sketchy. I think it's really, really weird. I think it's really suspicious. Next, like I had said before, Jodi had changed her identity. She had brown hair instead of the blonde hair. And when you see her in court, obviously court didn't happen until about like 2015, I want to say. So like, yes, she aged, but technically that had only been about 7 years. So she went from like 24 to like 32, and when she was 32 she looked like she was like 40 years old. It might be karma for being a shitty fucking person, but it was really strange. But I think that like I need to state that because I feel like people thought that she was older when all this went down, and she actually was really, really young. Next, I want to talk about the murder. So Jodi on that day, on June 4th, had gone over to Travis's house. Of course, like I said, they'd had sex, they'd hung out, and of course they started at one point arguing. Pretty much Travis was never gonna wife this woman, like, and Jodi just really lost her shit. She had a camera because she did do some photography, and she had taken pictures of their rendezvous. So first there was pictures of them having sex. Of course, there was like a lot of nude photos, a lot of oral sex photos, a lot of kissing photos, and then slowly but surely the nightmare unfolds. You see him in the shower, which is where the murder really happened. Jodi Arias stabbed Travis Alexander 29 times. After stabbing him 29 times, she shot him once, and it was determined that he actually was most likely already dead by the time she shot him. So this was definitely a crime of passion. She then took the camera and put it in a washer machine. And there was actually so much blood everywhere in his room and in his room area, because I'm assuming he had like a master bedroom, he had the bedroom and a bathroom, that I'm sure there was a shit ton of DNA everywhere. And I don't know why she didn't bring the camera. I think that also is a reason why people thought maybe she was insane or crazy, because like, why wouldn't you bring the camera that you took photos of this man on? The camera photos, I think she thought by damaging the camera that like she would damage the damning evidence, but they were able to retrieve the photos. And those photos are so horrifying. You can literally go online right now and go look them up. I'm not gonna put them up on this video because they're freaking gross. Which is horrible to say, but they are gross. What Jodi Arias did was disgusting and horrible, and I feel like I actually hate that they're still up, because I don't think that's good representation of Travis's memory. The last photo that, in fact, I want to mention is that after everything went down and Jodi was arrested, obviously people were so surprised by the change of story. First, she said she had nothing to do with the murder. Then she said that she was actually there and she was attacked, that a bunch of random people came in to like attack and try to rob Travis and Jodi. Then she said that she was actually defending herself. She told a bunch of different lies, but the biggest thing I need to say is that Jodi was a huge narcissist. Jodi was obsessed with the camera. She did her makeup before every shoot. She knew how to talk to reporters and ask them about lighting. She would say outlandish things like how Travis came to visit her in her sleep and had like forgiven her and all this crazy shit. The point is, it was all for show. It was all for 15 minutes of fame, and a lot of times it worked. She had a lot of admirers after that. But thank God her 15 minutes of fame are over. The only time people ever really talk about Jodi is when asshole YouTubers like me decide to bring it up. But I say all that to say, these are just kind of some background facts I think people should know about. They're not really in any specific order, but they are things that if you ever find yourself at a dinner table talking about murder and you want to talk about someone that's crazy and someone that did something selfish and insane, Jodi Arias is your girl. And if you ever have a girlfriend or boyfriend say, you're crazy, say, no, you know what's crazy? Crazy is murdering someone, then driving about 16 hours to another state to hang out and hook up with their friend, and then lying and changing my appearance and coming up with a bunch of different stories and loving the camera and loving every minute of all the attention I had. That's fucking crazy.